Lots of things going on the boards these days. They closed out their budgets. They have new members. We're going to talk to folks from United, Jeannie Costello and Mickey Choi Ho. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
And Jeannie, let's start with you. You are a new board member.
I am.
And
freshly minted.
What made you decide to run? Where's your kind of background? Let's get into some of those stuff.
Well, when my husband and I moved into the village, going to be 5 years ago now, the village was basically shut down, with the exception of pickleball, golf, and tennis, which were socially distanced,
Right.
sports. So it was my opportunity to get involved socially. I started getting involved in pickleball, and met a wonderful group of people, and they're very active and they're very involved. And I have always been involved in whatever community I was in, so it made perfect sense for me to kind of do that here when the opportunity presented itself. The opportunity presented itself when I retired last January and found that I had some time on my hands, and people said, we can fill that time for you.
We got something.
We got something for you. So I ran and became a director for United, and have been getting my feet wet. Mickey's been a wonderful president, and they've all been very, very supportive in my growth in this position. So here I am.
Now, your background is kind of interesting. You did costume procurement over for Disney?
I've been in the apparel industry. First of all, I started, received my degree from Cal State Long Beach, go Beach, in business administration marketing. And I went into the apparel industry, and my entire 40 years has been in either merchandising or procurement in the apparel industry. And about 20 years ago, I answered a blind ad in the California Apparel News, and it was for a costume company. And it turned out it was Disney. And so I started my career with them, which was wonderful. And I have been doing, the past 10 years, costume procurement, which is the operational costumes, the character costumes that you see in the park. So both the raw materials and the finished costumes. So it was a very interesting career pivot for me, as opposed to just regular garments when you're making clothes for Mickey and Minnie and the princesses.
Mickey's here, but different story.
Different Mickey.
Different Mickey, not making clothes for Mickey. I had a very short-lived attempt at being a character there. I won't tell that story right now, but it was a disaster.
What character was it?
It was just a character audition.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know you had to learn dance steps and all this kind of thing, and I couldn't have walked out fast enough. that's the short version of that story. I thought it'd be fun to dress up.
It's a lot. What they don't realize is costumes are extremely heavy, or they can be, depending on what character you are portraying. And
hot summer days.
And it's hot. And there's no air in these costumes. Yes, Mickey down, Mickey down. Yeah.
But you also served on some nonprofit boards. You've worked as a treasurer as well. So you do have the experience in terms of working in, like, we're an HOA kind of. It's kind of a same kind of thing, kind of a crossover,
Correct.
right?
I mean, as one does, you get involved in your children's lives, right? So my son was involved in Boy Scouts, so of course I became the treasurer and throughout his Cub Scout and Boy Scout career. And then when they went into college, they got into a wonderful exchange program, the Long Beach Yokkaichi Sister City Organization, excuse me. And of course, I became, on the board of directors. My children had the opportunity to go over to Japan and work on environmental projects with high school children from over there. And so, like I said, you follow your heart, and so I became on the board of directors for that wonderful program as well. And then we moved here.
And then you moved here. And not only did you start pickleball, but now you're the events director. And if you can wrangle pickleball people, you can do a lot of things.
They're a fun bunch. I have to tell you, we're a very, very fun bunch. And so we decided that to start doing events. And we've had Band X, we've had the Nomads, we've had game night, we've had trivia night. In fact, we're going to be planning our next year's events this afternoon. And we're going to have a charity night, but I'm not going to go there. I don't want to tip my hand. Yes, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So.
All right, Mickey, let's get you involved in this conversation as well.
Sure.
Some of the board actions that have been going on. You guys have a resolution on the walkway lighting, and that's kind of a revision of what's been going on in the past.
Yes. Last time we reorganize or revise the policy and the request form was 2011.
Okay.
So actually, we are required to revise regularly, review the forms, and see if any changes needed, so on. So we were looking at it, and then the criteria to consider for installing additional new walkway lightings are the major issue. But those are all same. The only thing we change is just language cleanup. And also the application form. So if any residents see the needs of additional lighting, usually, each two lightings should be separated 20 feet away. But those criteria are all the same, but the application form, last requirement was we need to get all the signatures from the units, which are applicable. But this time we decide not to have that one because it is not necessary. It's very additional time requiring a procedure. That procedure can be taken by the staff members. So only applicants could sign, and then we could proceed it. So that's only, apparent change. Rest of them
For
is the same.
efficiency.
Yeah.
And 2011 is 2024, so 13 years.
It's been a minute. Probably a good idea for an update.
Right.
Is there a lot of kind of back and forth on debating over the walkway lighting? I mean, if somebody sees a need, are there people who say, "Oh, I don't want because lights will shine into my window. Can we not do them here?" Is there any back and forth on that, or is it usually just if we see a need, we do it?
Well, there are not no back and forth, but many requirements. I mean, the application. People think that it's too. Dark here, and sometimes when in the corner cuts off and the some elevation there, then we might have to consider changing or additional lights, so on. So there are cases, but not just debate. So.
Well, you might have absentee ownership too, right? So the member is the one that has to sign. So I think for efficiency purposes, if a resident sees a need, there's probably a need there, and these are low-level lighting.
Right.
I mean, these are not bright shining lights. These are lights that are geared to light your path. So, from a safety purpose, I don't think anybody will argue that these lights would be necessary. So, to speed up the process.
Right, and there's a cost, and there's there's the installation, those kinds of things. So those are all part of the consideration, I imagine, as well.
Right.
Well, some other things that are going on in terms of board actions are. Your SB 326 exterior elevated elements inspection report, and so can you kind of jump into that? Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, that SB 326 is just code number required by the California state.
Right.
Okay, there are
so
a lot
you
of
have to
different.
comply with those kind of things.
Right,
in the HOA.
right. It requires inspection of exterior elevated elements defined as the load-bearing components, such as balconies, walkways, and stairwells, so on, to determine if the exterior elevated elements are in generally safe condition and performing in compliance with applicable standards. SB 326.
Absolutely.
It also requires inspection be conducted every 9 years, with the initial inspection completed by January 2025. So this is kind of new code, I believe. And in July 22, the board of directors awarded a contract to structural engineering consultant, the company name, Cardoso and Associate Incorporated, to conduct the required visual inspections in compliance with the code SB 326. And then inspection was completed between 2022 and 2024. So randomly selected about 147 buildings, and all are passed except 10 structures.
Okay.
And they fixed it, and now it's completed. So it's going to be good for 9 years, I believe. And however, the structures that has been completed to repair is okay until 18 or to 27 years. So we are now good. I mean, 10 structure out of 147, which is very good population.
Great,
and now, very good, 99%.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, is this something that the HOA was already kind of doing on a regular basis, but came into more of a compliance in terms of what was going on with the state, or is it?
Yeah, they've been doing regularly, but this is a particularly elevated areas and particularly, weight loading structures. So and one day I was walking in, and out of 10 buildings, my building was kind of selected. It was not my unit, but opposite of my side, they were, repairing that patio stuff. So I was wondering what happened. That was the one that I realized that, we caught it, and this has to be repaired.
Absolutely.
Which was interesting. But
yeah, and how important is it for you to be proactive rather than reactive when we're looking at these kinds of things? Oh, we might have a problem here. Let's get on this before it becomes something. I mean, we've seen what happened in Florida with some of the buildings. There's complete building failures. So it's like that kind of proactive
I think
approach
you just answered your own question.
Yeah. How important is that before a building fails and falls down?
Yeah. Of course, that was the whole purpose of we really doing the reserve study for 30 years. What kind of structures to be repaired and proactively, and rather than something happened that we need to really frantic about it.
And those are challenges. And as you come in, Jeannie, and you're kind of like learning the ropes, are these the kind of things that you're kind of soaking in, understanding the processes, and then putting your input on something?
Exactly. I am being very quiet right now. I know enough to know that I don't know a whole lot, right? And so I am learning, and like I said, I'm going to keep my mouth shut and soak in what everybody else is trying to teach me here. But to your point, yes, being proactive, we are finding out now through our Prepare for Paint program that we have a building across the way from us. And while our building is being prepared for paint and had very minimal, prep work that needed to be done from dry rot or termites, the building across from us, I'm surprised it was standing. I mean, literally.
Just termites holding hands,
exactly,
keeping it together.
holding the whole thing together. The paint was actually holding the whole thing together, and I think that's really the cautionary tale here, is to make sure that we're being proactive, and maybe we don't need 15-year paint. Maybe we only need 10-year paint, because what we're finding is the problems that are being uncovered when at 15 years are more it's more costly to repair than had we done it at 10 years. So pay me now or pay me later, right?
There's always that thought of deferred maintenance. Can we defer that a little bit more? Let's not move the reserves around. But then you find that the bill just kind of balloons on that deferment sometimes.
I think, and again, once we go through this process, we'll find out. But it seems that that's what we're finding. So yes, being more to your answer. The short answer is yes, being proactive.
Yeah, and you also you have a resolution for United for an ad hoc committee on kind of finding revenues, other sources, because no one wants to see their fees go up in terms of their HOA dues.
And they have.
I've been here already twice. This is my third time appeared after I became a president. And I've been telling you many times that our major initiative for this year is really financial, accountability and stability. And we raise a big fee, and we try to find some additional revenue resources. Our revenue resources is very limited, just assessment fee. But because this cost is increasing, inflation, and plus some of the miscalculation, the previous years of the big deficit. So we are looking for it, and so we had set up the ad hoc committee at the end of previous year's board members. But now we really wants to make this ad hoc committee to be a standing committee, so that we could really work to complete the project and also to implement that ideas. So we had to change the charters, and we reorganized the committee members, so on. So we are beginning to really, our sleeves up and work. That was the main action.
Have there been any identified areas where you guys think, hey, this is actually good potential, this could actually make a big difference?
Sure. Yes, so we are looking, again, the legal, feasibility is very important one. We try to get some fees, if it is feasible legally, so we're looking for it, and also some fundraising opportunity. So one of the things that I've been proposing is that maybe at the end of September, something like that, we are hoping to get some multicultural, community-wide fundraising procedure. So I recruit Jeannie. She's a lot of marketing and so anyway.
She could do the costumes.
Yeah, right. Maybe you could be a character. Well,
We'll be holding
don't know.
tryouts.
Well, we are beginning to really launch ideas and get involved. So, I mean, not only getting some revenue, but also living, together as a whole community is another important.
Yeah, Jeannie, talk about that. A lot of times when there's a fundraiser, there's an event, it also is a opportunity to build community.
Yes.
And get people talking and that kind of thing. So I think it works in multi-levels, right?
Exactly, and that's exactly why I like this idea that Mickey has, that talk about holding hands. We have a very diverse group of people that live in this in our wonderful community of Laguna Woods. How many times do we reach across and build a bridge? We have the Korean American Club, we have this club, we have that club, we have the Chinese club, we have all of these cultural clubs. Why don't we work multiculturally, and nothing brings people together like food. Food is the social lubricant,
absolutely.
right? And sharing our cultural similarities around food and dance and things like that. So I think this is, and then again, of course, charging for these things, and then of course that's the revenue building, right? There's also the cost savings part of this, and I don't want people to think that it's about getting more money. Yes, but it's also about looking at the budget and seeing where, both from a homeowners association and from a GRF side, where we can, save money too.
Right.
I think that's an important aspect that we need to let people know that yes, we are very serious about this.
Yes. Well, if you decide to do the International Food Festival,
I'll
sign me up for a
Sure.
judge.
Okay.
I will taste.
Of course.
I will be one of the tasters.
We'll remember. Okay.
Let's talk real quick. What do you guys see, real quick, what do you see for the future for 2025? What is your main thing you want to get done?
Well, I mean, this year I think good things happening because of United Mutual, Third Mutual, and GLF, and everybody seems to get ready for working together as a unified, community. So we are, again, this kind of activity, it's for the United Mutual basically, but we cannot do it on our own. So we will talk together and work together corporately, and already for the president, vice president level, we decide to meet regularly, have a conversation, and help one another.
We're very excited about the new GRF board. Very excited. Yeah. So they're very proactive, forward-thinking people, because we have some challenges: energy, water, right? I mean, all of these things that are affecting all of us, and GRF plays a big part of that as well. So we're looking forward with partnering with them to move us all forward.
That's terrific. Well, we're going to be moving forward in 2025 with United. Jeannie and Mickey, thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it. If you're watching This Day, we'll be right back with more.